All right, everybody, welcome back to Pinch of Soul Cooking. I am Patrice Sykes, and today we are making my son's favorite. It is Brussels sprouts. This is the way I make it, and he has loved it since day one. So we're gonna get up in here and cook these. Make sure you subscribe so that way you can come on up in here and see what we cook in the kitchen. All right, so welcome to my kitchen. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what we're gonna need for this is some good old Brussels sprouts, okay? We're gonna use some bacon, an onion, and yes, we're gonna put a lot of salt and pepper into this dish, okay? So the first thing I like to do is I like to get these onions out the way, you know, because for one, anybody got time for that, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get this chopped up so that way it's ready to go. Now this is just a small little baby onion, what I like to call it, because I have had some that is way bigger than this, okay? And you know what? Yeah. So this is just a little baby one. You can do this real quick, simple, easy, you know, so make sure, look at that, boom, we're done with that half, right? I got this little piece over here that I kind of didn't chop up, but that's basically it right there, right? So you just want to do a quick chop on these. Make sure you watch your fingers, you know, you don't want those to get chopped off nowhere, right? So that's the first one. And we're going to go ahead on and do the second one real quick, because like I said, I like to get through these onions as fast as I possibly can, because I don't like, you know, to sit up here and look like I'm dying and crying because of these darn onions. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you can do this onion. I have some tools. I just didn't bring them out today. We're going to use those here coming up real soon. When we start making our Thanksgiving meals, you will definitely get to see them then, okay? So, we're good. Chopped up, ready to go. All right, we're done. We're done with those onions. So, we're going to go ahead on and move those over there. We might not even use all these. I'm not just sure just yet. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and get this bacon. All right, now, this is the part that I actually love. Now, if you're doing some kind of diet, whatever it is, you might not be able to use this, okay? I don't know. This is just one way I like to do this, okay? To me, it adds in flavor, some good flavor, right? Because this is bacon we're talking about here, right? This is bacon we're talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out, let's see, that's 1, 2, let's take out 4 pieces of bacon. That should do it. 4 good pieces of bacon, yep. All right, now, me, I ain't got time for all that, so I'm gonna use my handy scissors up in here, okay? And cut those right on up, okay? And what you wanna do with these is you wanna, I kind of cut them in half. I like to still leave big pieces in there so that when I'm cooking these, I can actually get them out of the pan, okay? Now you notice they're a little bit, you know, not centered, but that's okay. You just go ahead and chop those on up, cut them on up, okay? Watch them fingers. So I'm still leaving them in some of big pieces so that way I can get them out of the skillet when I need to, because you know we don't want them to, we want them to get crispy but not burn, okay? So make sure you are paying attention to that part. All right. Now you can do this with your good old-fashioned knife. I ain't got time for all that. I was just like, I'm trying to get this done because you know family's waiting for dinner, and Patrice decided to cook a little late today, but that's all right. They're gonna eat. They be all right. All right. Got that part done, and there we go. I gotta get these in a sink so I can wash these because you know. Yeah, getting all over this. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and there we go, right? Put this in the sink, get this out the way, and wash my hands off real quick. Like, got my little bleach water over here, so wash your hands. All right. Now, the good thing about these Brussels sprouts are they're already clean, okay? So we don't really have to do much with them except for get them out And I like to actually cut them up, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause the video so I can give you another cutting board because I don't want to use the same cutting board. And then we're going to come back and we're going to go ahead and cut up these Brussels sprouts. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start chopping these up. And now what I do with these is literally, I just want to get this piece off. That's all I really want to do. Sometimes, depending on how big they are, I might cut them in half. But if not, I'll just stick them in there just like this. Okay, so that's all we're doing here. Like, let me find a big piece. These aren't really that big, but I will just take them when I find a big piece and just go straight down the middle and do like that. That's all I do. Go like that. Sometimes, yes, pieces will fall off. That's okay. And then you cut it straight into the middle. All right, so that is all we're gonna do for this entire bag because yes, my son can eat darn this whole bag by himself, and I'm not exaggerating. So again, just cut them down like that, and then put it there, straight in the middle. I'm doing this for a reason. Okay, I had someone ask me about making Brussels sprouts. Oh, dropped that on the floor. Gotta get that before the dog does. But doing this, someone asked me about how do I make my Brussels sprouts because like they're trying to figure out why does my son love Brussels sprouts so much. I think it's the bacon. I really do. But then again, like I said, I don't like that one. But then again, like I said, you know, if you don't at least smile at least once while you're cooking, then you're not doing it right. You know, this is all about cooking from the heart, cooking with love. That's what it's all about. Okay, I tell people that's what soul cooking is. Cooking from the heart. That is all it is. You put love into it, they'll taste it. And you know, you're really good when your family asks you over and over again to make something in particular. So because this is one of his favorites, I decided I'll share with you all how I make my Brussels sprouts. Now, let me make sure you understand, there are many ways to do this. You can actually put them in the oven. You can add Parmesan cheese to these. Trust me, I've tried it. It is simply amazing. Okay, you can do that. You can start it on the stove top and then stick it in the oven. There are so many different ways that you can actually do this. And I have seen some. You can drizzle some balsamic vinegar on top of these, get that thick syrup consistency, and baby back. Okay. You can get that and it would be simply amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish chopping these up, and then after that I'll come back and we'll get to cooking these on the stove. All right. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and get this Brussels sprouts going. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put in, this is very hot, okay, I put in some olive oil, and we're gonna go ahead and slide this bacon over in here, okay? And yep, there you go. So you hear that sizzling? That's exactly what we want to hear. Okay, so we're gonna let that cook for a little while. I got a few other things going on here at the same time. So you put that in there, but I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch while this sit here and brown, right? So again, I just want you to see that I put this in here. I'm gonna let that cook up. As that's cooking up, we'll be back once it gets nice and crispy. Okay, before we add in the onions. All right, and I'll show you exactly that part. So we'll be back. All right, so they're getting nice and brown. So now I'm going to add in this onion because we're going to end up taking all of this out because we don't want that bacon to burn. Okay, so now even with this bacon in here, I'm a big fan of still salt as you go. Okay, because Brussels sprouts need a lot of help. So we're going to actually salt this. Yes, I just put a whole bunch of it, look like it, right? Trust me, I'm going to still need salt later on, okay? So that was about maybe a teaspoon of salt that I just added in there. Get that all mixed up with that bacon. smells delicious, marvelous, marvelous, darling, marvelous. All right, so we just want that. Yes, you still see a lot of oil in there, and that is okay, because this one piece of bacon is driving me crazy, y'all. It won't. There we go. Sit down in there. All right. There's a lot of oil in here, but the Brussels sprouts, trust me, is gonna soak up all of that oil. Believe it. Just believe it. Okay. I got a few things going on, so watch that for a minute. I got a few things going on the other side. I am making some yellow rice, and my water is actually boiling. So I'm gonna add that in there while you all watch that. All right, get that down in there. Good to go. Yes, you gotta be able to multitask around these areas. Multitask. All right, so that's going. Yes. That is amazing yellow rice. All right, so this is actually ready to actually come out now, because I don't want that to get too overly done. Meaning I don't want my bacon to burn. All right. Okay, this rice is over here. Good to go. All right. Cover that up. And reduce that down. All right, so now this, like I said, is ready to come out. I have a little container here so I can capture this. Okay, so just gonna scoop, shake some of this excess off. Okay, and yeah, I'm gonna leave all of that all right on in there. We're just going to get as much as we can out, because sometimes I can't get it all out, and that's okay. I just want to make sure I get that bacon out of there mainly the bacon. Okay. So I don't want that to burn. It's not a good taste. Burnt bacon is never good. Oh, I think I just dropped a piece. I did. It went back in there. It wants to stay, but it can't. Alright, having fun in the kitchen. Right? Having fun in the kitchen. Alright. Some of this is good to go. Let's get this big old piece of bacon right here out. And this other piece I see. There we go. Alright, now the rest of that stuff can stay in there. I don't care. That's fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually toss all these in here. Alright? Sometimes it's better to do sometimes portions, but yeah. Get them all in there. Okay. Now, what you want to do though at the beginning here is you want to make sure, okay, you want to make sure that you are mixing this all around, because you want to do is try to get most of this coated. Alright, you want to try to get it coated with that oil that was down in there. Remember the oil that I said leave on in there? And you can see, if you can see somewhere, you can barely see any oil at the bottom, because the Brussels sprouts are already getting soaked up in them. Okay. Oops. Alright. Now, this is not for my people who got to watch their salt. Okay, for me, this is a little bit different. You control the amount of salt for yourself. All right. So, what we're gonna do, because that's all nice and coated. All right, is I'm gonna add in some salt. All right, and this is gonna be approximately a teaspoon. Okay, that's good. Yep. Alright, because we're going to taste this again later on. And we're going to add in some fresh ground black pepper. Okay. Black pepper. Alright. And we're going to let that go ahead on and cook. Just like this. Okay, we want to get a few pieces browned up. And once we do that, then we'll cover it. So we're gonna let this cook like this for about a good, I'll say, let's give it 5 minutes, and then we'll see where we're at, okay? Because once again, depending on how much you're cooking, the heat level, all that stuff, it all takes into account. So we're gonna let this sit for 5 minutes, and we'll be back. So it's been about 5 minutes, okay? And stirring this around, you can see that some of the pieces are getting a little caramelized, which is what we want. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see those in there, but there are some pieces in here that are caramelized. Can y'all see that piece right there? Let's see if I can get it out for y'all. So y'all can actually see it up close. Look around. There we go. So you see it got a little bit of caramelization on there, okay? Just a little bit. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually put my cover on here, the lid. And oh, that's a good one that's caramelized right there. Oh yes, that right there. I'm gonna look for that piece later on. That's mine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on here, okay, and let that cook for another 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and check to see the tenderness of it all. So lid goes on, and we'll be back. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna check this. Oh yeah. Look at that. So yes, it has gotten nice and tender. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add these onions and bacon back into the mix. Mix that up, give that a stir. And we're going to go in and we're going to taste some of this before we let it cook down some more. Because I can tell you, it looks amazing to me. It smells amazing to me. I just gotta make sure it tastes amazing. Okay, let's see. Because my son, he doesn't like them to be too smushy, he says. Hot, hot, hot. Yup. Okay. Look at it go. Whoo, it's hot. I'm gonna add in just another about a half a teaspoon of salt, and then after that, if they want to add more salt to theirs, they can. So this is basically done. Okay, so we're gonna let this cook another about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay. Cover it up, and then we're done. We're gonna be ready to make our plate.